Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Bushwhacking History in Buffalo with Berserker Bear. Today I'm going to showcase the Eternal Flame Waterfall, as you can see in your screen right there. It's in the town of Orchard Park, or Chestnut Ridge Orchard Park, just southeast of Buffalo. And then we'll also take a look at some relevant truth drops uh, with the information that I'm going to present here from truth drops from the media. One pretty serious from a PlayStation game, actually, that's quite oxymoronic, you think? And the other is just a great scene from a great movie. And I'll play that to close out today, so stay tuned. And with that, welcome back, and let's go. So let's see, we're at, what I'll do is we're going to define what the Eternal Flame Waterfall is today, okay? A petroleum seep. I'm going to show we'll play a montage of my video for me being there with my buddy, and then we're going to go over some ideas I want to show you that I got from just paying attention as I'm looking around. Life does move pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, sometimes you might miss it. Ferris Bueller, you know. So yeah, we're gonna
A
do
video of me trying to float an anvil in mercury. Despite
yeah, real cool stuff. Real cool stuff today. I like to put out some crazy stuff, as I like to say, but I'll try to I try to reel it all in at the end. So that's a preview of what we're going to be doing today. All right, and let's bushwhack some history. So here we are. We're at the Eternal Flame Waterfall. I went there with my buddy Tommy. I'm going to introduce it in the video that I'm going to play. It's a montage. So I'm gonna play this, and then I will read the definition of Eternal Flame Waterfall, and then we'll just get into some ping pong back and forth about the ideas that I have. So thanks for coming back, and this is it. Southeast of the city of Buffalo, about a half an hour ride outside, and been there a couple times before with the gentleman, my good buddy Tommy. I don't got to be so cordial and formal with that guy, but he is a gentleman and a scholar. Was a high school teacher, retired Air Force. Tommy is a very good dude, very good friend, and was a high school teacher, 7th to 12th grade earth science. So he represents a critic, but he is interested in this research that we do. So, okay, let's get into it. We were right here. This is the front entrance, but if you drive past that a little bit, you could park over here, and that's what you would call the player entrance. So we going through the player entrance, right? All right. So that's the Eternal Flame, southeast of Buffalo, and let's get into it. Thanks for coming back, everybody. I'm going to play this. I'm going to read from Eternal Flame, and we're going to go over some crazy ideas. Bushwhacking history. Highly recommend this place coming out if you're in New York State area, Western New York State area. What's up, y'all? It's Dustin, Berserker Bear, good buddy Tommy. We are at Chestnut Ridge, Eternal Flame Waterfall. I told you I'd be boots on the ground here about a week ago, so I'd like to preview what I put out. So we've been here before. Tommy's a good buddy of mine. We go back a long ways, and we like to get out there and do a lot of hiking. When's the last time we were here?
at least 10 years ago, Dust.
At least 10, probably 10, 15 years ago. About a half-hour ride outside of Buffalo, and we got some boots on the ground for you. And now we're hiking the trail to get here. It's beautiful. The leaves are falling down from the deciduous trees. The evergreens are still green, of course, but all the leaves are on the ground, and we're in the field. To the Eternal Flame Waterfall, bushwhacking Buffalo, bushwhacking history. From Tommy G and Dustin, we'll report back. Be safe out there, watch your six, and keep it sleuthing. All right. That's right. As always, keep it sleuthing. So, yeah, let's turn that down a hair. And Eternal Flame Falls. I am reading from the Wikipedia. Eternal Flame Falls is a small waterfall located in the Shale Creek Preserve, a section of Chestnut Ridge Park in western New York. A small grotto at the waterfall's base emits natural gas, which can be lit to produce a small flame, which we're going to see. This flame is visible nearly year round, although it can be extinguished and must be occasionally relit. The Eternal Flame Falls were featured in the book Secret Places by Bruce Kirschner, and in the book What's Weird on Earth? Recent developments. Once considered an obscure attraction in the region, media attention and improvements to the access trail have led to an increased number of visitors. The increased popularity of the falls has led to some negative impacts, such as an increase in litter, vandalism, pollution, and impacts on the surrounding terrain by tourists, but also fueled a successful public protest against the plan to clear a nearby forested area to install a disc golf course in 2012. However, the disc golf course was installed just through the forest area, whatever that means. Composition and source of gas. A geologist from Indiana University Bloomington and Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology studied Eternal Flame Falls in 2013 in an effort to better understand how natural gas emitted from naturally occurring hydrocarbon seeps contribute to greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. They found that the macro seep at the Eternal Flame Falls had higher concentrations of ethane and propane, about 35%, than other known natural gas seeps, which typically contain greater proportion of methane. They estimated that the seep at the falls emits approximately 1 kilogram of methane per day. The researchers also noted the presence of numerous other microseeps in the area by the falls. By comparing the gas emitted by these seeps with the gas from wells in the area, they determined that the gases originate from Rhine Street Shale, approximately 400 meters or 1,300 feet below the surface. Tectonic activity likely opened faults in shale, allowing gas to reach the surface. According to one geologist in 2013 study, the seep's apparent source could provide evidence for previously unknown geologic mechanism by which natural gas is produced within shale. Typically, shale must be hot, around 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit, for its carbon structures to break down and form smaller natural gas molecules. However, the shale from which the Eternal Flame draws its gas is much cooler, in addition to being younger and shallower than typical gas-bearing shale. This may indicate that additional, as yet undemonstrated, processes can contribute to the creation of natural gas in shale. One possibility is that a catalyst capable of breaking down shale in cooler conditions is present. So that was the article of Wikipedia, and as you can see, if you were, paying attention, or if you could read along, that it's pretty much they don't know effectively. Could be this and that, yada yada. So this is the walk up to it as we're looking. Now, I actually did take, if you can see on the screen, I'm not sure. Instead of using my phone camera, I actually had a old school, well, not old school, but a picture camera, regular camera taker that I got from my wife, and I used that to see if I can get a little bit more clarity in these pictures for you, but or just something else I could use. So this was the walk up from the player entrance to, there's a little bit of a hike, about a 15-minute hike. Not too bad. It's quite easy, but once you get down actually into the Creek itself, it's slippery, so you got to be careful, of course. There goes Tommy. So yeah, the clip that I got to play, we'll play the clip from the PlayStation game right after this, and we'll get into some cool truth droppage stuff. And yeah, Tommy's a good buddy of mine. He is a high school, or was a high school teacher. And whenever I want to get out and hike, I can 100% rely on calling him, and he's definitely down. Also, he, like I said, he's a teacher, so he does represent a skeptic. As, for example, what you're going to see, he brought his tools with him, and he couldn't help, in his inquisitive nature, is to take out his shovel and start digging in the mud. Also, I'm gonna tie this boulder in. Some might think in this area, northeast, glaciation and glacial deposits. I think that I have another possible mechanism of travel of that big boulder right there, especially in the creek, and we're gonna look at that too. And a couple key words that I'll cite there is flash flood or debris flow, and anvils floating on Mercury. So we'll tie that in, and I'll explain what I believe that we're seeing. Look at those blocks, shale blocks. So beautiful area, just another place to go hike. Again, it's not, when you do walk up onto this place, it's very majestic. It's not as big as you think, though. I'd say it's about maybe a 30-foot waterfall. It's beautiful, though. It is beautiful. There goes Tommy. Pro tip, I had my hiking boots on, and they actually did pretty good. They're steel toe. But I put shopping bags in them, and that's something that somebody from the Northeast might be familiar with from playing out in the snow. You put shopping bags over your socks, in between your socks and your boots, and it acts as a waterproof. Now, walking up to this place, there were washes on the side that were coming down, smaller waterfalls, and I'm sure that you can see this whole place once, if it heavy rain in fall, or I'm sorry, in spring, there's much more water in the basin, I'm sure. So in those washes on the side, you can see broken tree limbs and stuff like that it carries in. So keep that in mind also when I want you to look up flash flooding, okay? And on the very tip of these flash floods, now check this out. It's all the dry debris and the sticks. Now we're going to apply that same concept to debris flows and boulders, and again, anvils floating on Mercury, and minerals. We're going to tie in minerals. There you go. What did I say about Tommy with the tools? So it almost looked like a little bit of a
okay,
road.
so we're just about right before the falls, and we noticed. Well, Tommy noticed that in the creek bed itself, these block type formations, and I kind of looked right over them, right underneath that wash. And Tommy's got his Tommy was a teacher, and he's got his geological equipment here. You just seen that picture, and I mean, I don't know if that's a road or that looks like blocks, but we're right here before the Eternal Flame Falls, and Tommy wanted to get out his it looked like wanted to dig down in the mud.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Hi, Big. You doing some?
Yeah, that was cool. What dude doesn't want to dig in the mud, you know? And then there were people coming and going. It wasn't that busy, but there were other people who were hiking, of course. And what I'll say about that is, when I say it looks like a road, yeah, it did. I'm not going to get into going on a deep dive about Roman roads, but look up Roman roads and look up just Google search Roman road diagram and hit images in your Google search, and who knows? But okay, here you go. Eyes on target. That's what I like to say. A little bit of a wait, but if you're out hiking, you're respectful of others. And as far as what the Wikipedia article said, I didn't see any pollution, any signs of human activity. Matter of fact, if people go out in nature for hikes, they respect that type of stuff, and whatever. Just trying to get ground support to close it off, maybe. Who knows? Full circle. Hey there, Tommy G. There you go. Very cool. This place is very cool, and has a certain energy, and we'll get into that. But here we go.
Here we go. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh. We made it. Eternal Flame Waterfall. And it's lit.
Definitely has the appearance of some ancient forest.
Old growth. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Yeah, really cool. This is amazing. It almost kind of looks like a figure.
Definitely look like a figure. Yeah, that thing definitely. You know what? I want to. No. You could pause it and go back. Now, I'm gonna show you other examples, real world examples of places in the world that happen, this is happening right now. Also, in his story. Now, it looks like it's coming right out of the ground. Also, there is another feature right above this, though, that looked like there was a borehole, and it's got kind of blockage. I don't want to say infrastructure, but you'll see. Just one of the coolest places. I completely forgot. I didn't forget about it, but, like I said to Tommy, probably over 10 years ago, Tommy and I went here because I've been with my wife for about 15 years. She's going to kill me for not knowing. Yeah, 15 years. And there, look at the top. Look above it. See? Look at that. There you go. Interesting. But yeah, I'd say a little bit longer than 15 years or 10 years ago. Maybe 15 more. And we'll do some more with Tommy and I. Like to go up to Niagara Falls, and I got a lot more work to do up at the falls. So stay tuned there. And
I mean, you gotta be kidding me, dude. It's just ridiculous. It's Loki playing fucking tricks, dude.
Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Now look at the straight.
No.
Nature doesn't make straight lines, but it does in shell, I guess.
Just doesn't look natural to me.
It doesn't. Almost looks like it was cut with a bandsaw. Just had to get that. And that's off the beaten trail. This is like
you have to go. Of course, we know shale breaks like that, but.
Yeah, I guess. It does. It definitely does. And Tommy pointed that out. See the sneakers up there? Tommy did point it out. Faults. Now keep that in mind for faults, because that's what we're going to go over now. So that was our little presentation of the Eternal Flame Waterfall. I made it. Now boulders. Okay, but let's play this first. Now pay attention. This is from just about the ending of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Okay, now pay attention to what the guy says, the gentleman says, and what he's saying it about, and what do you think? So, Assassin's Creed Syndicate dance. What's the dance? We'll talk about it.
Miss Fry, may I have this dance?
Mr. Starrick, you've had your fun, but the game is over.
Listen. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Time is a wonderful thing, Miss Fry. It heals all wounds. We may make mistakes while dancing, but the Berserker ends, and then we begin again. Problem is, everyone forgets. They trip on the same mistakes over and over.
People can learn.
Can they? Isn't everyone around you repeating the same steps? But if one man could remember the dance, could know the time, then he could change things for the better.
I have had enough.
This dance is nearly over. Soon, the people will forget the generation on this terrace. The ruin you nearly wrought on London. When the music ceases, Miss Fry, your time is up, and mine begins.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? To quote Vicini from Princess Bride. But yeah, he's speaking about the dance, the eternal dance of time, and of fallen men, of us forgetting of who we are, of Most High, I believe, in my opinion, and the eternal dance of the capitalist Neon City and the farmer. That's my opinion. And did you hear what he said about a terrace? They were dancing on a terrace, but I believe he was talking about the terrace of the Terra, of the flat plain, allegedly could it be. So I thought that was cool. Keep that in mind, and let's get back to boulders. So when we seen that boulder in the creek bed, we talk about glaciation here, northeast. There were glaciers 10,000 years ago, ice age, and glacial till. Now, what I want to show you here is a concept that I've been thinking about when I watch these crazy videos all the time. This is a debris flow. I do have a playlist on my playlist that's in my playlist list that's public, that's called debris flows or flash floods. I highly recommend you going in there because what I think we're seeing here is what I think is going to be demonstrated in Cody's lab. Really interesting YouTube channel. So you see the boulders, how they're kind of floating, or they look like they're floating, in my opinion. And if you look up Cody's lab, he does a very cool experiment, and I'm going to play it right now, and we're going to tie this in. And it might be something other than glaciation or glacial till. Hit it, Cody.
Despite it getting lots of views, it didn't actually work, so I wanted to try again. And so, I got a much smaller anvil here. Of course, I'm kidding. Whoa. I got a much bigger tub of mercury. So this ought to get that anvil afloat. This is much easier. Get a little bit more wiggle room. Oh, it's also, you stand in there too long, it cuts the circulation off to your feet.
Oh gosh.
Feet are tingly as it goes back. There's no mercury sloshing in there, so I know they didn't leak. Let's, I got this rag wet. Let's wipe off the top. Get all that oxides and stuff off of there.
This is so cool.
Oh, isn't that pretty? Since
I mean,
the rag's wet, it sticks right to it.
Look at that.
I don't get all of it, but it's a lot better than it was.
What he's going to do,
Alright, so
as you'll
here's
see,
my 110-pound iron working anvil. I think we got this for making horseshoes and stuff back when we had horses. So let's set it in here and see if it floats. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to stay upright. I'll just let it tip over. There it is. It's floating. Look at that.
The iron anvil floats because mercury has a density nearly twice that of iron. In fact, due to the density ratios, the iron actually floats better than wood does in water.
oh, what did he say? Better than wood does in water? Let's go to this legend's. Giving you ideas to follow up on here. When you see a flash flood, all the wood comes to the front, okay? Because it's lighter, it's floating. When you see a debris flow, follow up on this. I don't want there to be ads. Okay, all these debris flows, actually the boulders are in the front. they're they're acting similar to the twigs do in a flash flood. And another underlying tone of this presentation is minerals. Okay, when these flash floods occur, let's see if this actually plays without an ad. Of course it won't. When you see them, there's always boulders in front. Okay. Check out my playlist. Almost look, these boulders are almost the size of houses, some of them. And you say friction getting pushed by the mud. No, what I think is these flash floods or these debris flows come from hundreds of miles away. That's what a flash flood is, okay? And what I think is happening is that there are, as Cody said, there's dissolved minerals, there's dissolved metals in this mud. And that mud could be more dense than those blocks. Now this might be counterintuitive, and all I'm doing is showing how this is nothing other than just some alternative research here. But look at how big these boulders are, and they're in front. Now I'm not saying floating like a buoy floating, but maybe just a little bit more buoyant, because think of all, and I proposed this idea to my buddy Tommy, who was an earth science teacher, and he said, I was explaining the idea to him in a sense that like maybe that mud or this flow has dissolved minerals and metals in it, and he's kind of stopped me in my tracks, and he's like, whoa, 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 hold up, Dust. Maybe if they do, he's like, it definitely does. So you kind of see the cogs spinning in his head. He's like, yeah, that could definitely be cool. And I remember seeing that cool video of Cody doing floating an anvil on Mercury, and I'm like, well, is that what's going on here? Something different than glaciation. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen also, but this is just something to keep in mind. Okay, boulders can be obviously traveled down creek with water, but keeping in mind that this mud might be denser because it's got dissolved minerals and metals in it, then these boulders, they could actually be buoyant. So that's an idea that I wanted to put out there. Also, it's cool watching these crazy debris flow videos. And Reed Timmer is a legend, that dude that I cited. So check out my flash flood debris flow playlists and come up with your own opinion about that. I thought that was cool. Okay, let's get to this place. This is the door to hell, as they say, in Darvasa gas crater. Now, that is a petroleum seep that was allegedly lit on fire to stop the leak from coming out, I guess. Petroleum seeps are effectively just gas seeps or actual crude oil that comes out. Come here and verse yourself on them. Effectively, that's what Eternal Flame Waterfall is. Effectively, that's what this place is. I just thought it was cool to show because, I mean, it's flame coming right out of the ground, just like the Eternal Flame Waterfall, but this is 333 times bigger. So, and the gas that's coming out of the composition of the gas in Eternal Flame is more methane, and I think the gas in this one is methane also. So yeah, there you go, methane gas. And this doesn't look like shale to me. I know shale is supposed to create methane gas pockets from vaults and stuff like that. But what I also want to draw your attention to is the oracle at Delphi in Pythia. This is where the Ephos and where the clip from 300 where Leonidas has to climb up and consult the wizards of the old type of deal. And when he does, this chick looks like she's dancing in water. And I wonder if that's symbolic or metaphoric for it being in conjunction with water, like the Eternal Flame Waterfall. Now, obviously, there's not water out here, but what I'm saying is when they present it in 300 and they're consulting the oracle, it looks like she's floating in water, and it's a very cool scene. Anyway, this is a article from National Geographic, the Delphic Oracle. Now, this is a different gas that was coming out of here. I'll leave a link to this in my my description, but it just made me think about it. I don't know if it's different gases coming out of here in Delphi, Pythia, fumes and vapors. So what they say is they believe that that oracle may have been under the influence of these type of gases that were coming up from vents and vaults, or vents under the earth from faults, excuse me. And science always tries to explain things away, but it wasn't it, something majestical or magic. It was this. It was vault. It was this gas coming up and putting her under some kind of euphoric state. Now, I can tell you one thing for sure. When we were coming up out of that chasm after we seen the fall, I told Tommy, I turned to him and said, we just got up on a clearing and got out of the actual gorge itself, and there was like a flat plain and all the leaves were on the ground, like I said, and it just felt like you wanted to run and like almost fly. And I said that to Tommy, and in retrospect, it's like, were you getting that feeling of what they're saying here from those? Because you smell the whole sulfur smell or methane smell all along the creek, those micro vents coming up, as they say. So that's what they might attribute to when you see this chick going all crazy like that. She may have been, and you got the smoke in the background too, so there it's kind of indicative of vapors. And that's what they say, or science likes to say, that's what the Oracle at Delphi may have been under the trance of some of these things. And like I said, not that I was euphoric or high, but you may have gotten a little bit of sense of that. But I also get that feeling when I'm at Niagara Falls, though, and I wonder if it has to do with the running water, torrents coming off of the running water. That's all. That all ties in. So yeah, check that out. That's ethylene gas coming out at Delphi, though. So any kind of gas coming up out of vapors coming out of the earth, though, can cause a euphoric effect, I would think. Check that out. And then yeah, Temple of Apollo, and then the Oracle. So was the Eternal Flame waterfall, I don't know, an oracle of the true old world here in North America, as I like to say, possibly that it might be the new world might be the true old world. And that was a presentation on the Eternal Flame waterfall. Minerals and dissolved minerals and mud might be able to have boulders float on them, and Eternal Flame waterfall is similar to what's going on at Delphi, at least as far as gas coming out of the ground from vents in the earth, in the Terra. So I'll leave links to all this stuff in the description. I hope you liked that presentation. Check out this clip, ethylene, and yeah, with the idea of minerals and everything. And I said that we're going to tail out with a cool clip from a movie that I like. Here it is, Snatch. And we're gonna play this clip because Tommy, the dude that I went bushwhacking with, is a big movie buff also, and we like the movie Snatch. Now, let me just say this: every so often, a good buck is in high order, and that means that somebody else might not know where you're coming from. And in this clip, underlying tone is minerals, and Tommy's gun doesn't work. Okay, but the mugs don't know that. So I'll come back and say goodbye, but we're going to play this clip and lead it out. So thanks for stopping by for another one. I'll report back. As always, here we go.
Turkish, get your ass up. You lot, follow me and I'll fucking shoot you.
Calm down, son. Behave yourself.
I've got the gun, son. I think it's you should behave. What? You want to see if I've got the minerals?
And with that, watch your six, keep it sleuthing, and I will report back. Take care.